All right, Steve. This is Bracket G, the finals of Mech Mania Monday, the Herzog Zwei tribute. So we are here on Chasm, and it will be between TheKhumi in the police striker, the blue player in the upper left, flying as Lexi as per the rules of the tournament, and on the bottom right corner it is the red player FriskyCow in the classic striker, laying down some money makers also as Lexi, also by the rules of the tournament. That police striker that TheKhumi is flying in is the newest skin as of this time. And both players going with a traditional moneymaker build. Oh no, FriskyCow putting a T99 in the front socket, and TheKhumi going completely with moneymakers. Weirdly, oh, he's putting one off the socket so it doesn't get hit by the jackals that rush in immediately, going immediately for those creeps coming out. And FriskyCow dropping one jackal in defense on patrol at the top. Not a normal move for sure, but TheKhumi going full on moneymakers is probably going to go subsequently with full on tanks as well, I would assume.
I would assume in exactly the prediction that we made. Sorry for those of you that were watching. I don't know why, but occasionally the game gets messed up where none of my keys or anything works, and I almost have to practically exit the game just to get control again. Unfortunately, I don't know how to reproduce the bug, but it has happened each and every tournament. So by chance, somebody from Carbon is watching. I don't know if you guys saw what had happened. And I don't know how to reproduce it, but it keeps happening to me each week. So, wow, TheKhumi barely saved that other moneymaker.
FriskyCow actually attacking at a very opportune time because TheKhumi had moneymakers in his build queue and Longhorn to follow up. So Frisky just picking off moneymakers extremely easily at this point. Yeah, just giving TheKhumi all kinds of trouble. As you can see, one Seeker is coming out for TheKhumi in his build queue, but it is behind three Longhorn. And at this point, FriskyCow just having a field day, killing moneymakers left and right over and over and over again. TheKhumi desperately trying to keep up, has to dump out all of his build queue to be able to dump out that Seeker. And Frisky is just picking off stuff left and right. It's just super easy. And I guess that is kind of the drawback in going with this kind of full moneymaker, super aggressive style. And Frisky almost getting killed. Oh, but does get away from TheKhumi. Wow.
Are you? You're about maybe 5-10 seconds ahead of me right now. I just hit a minute 30.
Okay, cool. I will.
So yeah, when you're busy talking about FriskyCow almost dying, we're like, really? He looks like he's perfectly healthy.
Yeah, I think it had to do with you fixing your thing at this point.
Minute 45.
All right, okay, cool.
I don't know how much closer you are now to my time.
Okay, I'm about even with you at this point, I'm pretty sure. It's at about 158, 159 for me.
You're like now just like a second or two ahead of me, so yeah, that's a lot closer.
Okay, cool.
Better than like the 10-second lead you had on me.
Must have been a little confusing for the viewers. Definitely apologize for that, but
yeah, because you're
quite a lot of tanks here at the mid. Oh,
he is so dead right there. That TheKhumi had
so
dead. He was so dead. Just no way he was getting away from that. Well, I don't know. Maybe if he would have done a little bit of up and down, maybe somehow he could have walked away from that. And that actually does go to show that while TheKhumi, granted, is a very good player who's learning a lot very quickly, he hasn't really fully competed against all of our like higher end pros yet. So he hasn't necessarily learned a lot of the little tricks that they know for surviving unique situations like that. But I can see that currently my entire prediction was wrong. I predicted FriskyCow was going to go with light unit, and he is going pure heavy unit. Whether it's just he wanted to go that way for this map, or the fact that he kind of been studying his opponent and knew that TheKhumi was going to go more heavy unit, who can say? I wish we had them in the house so we could sit down and interview him.
Yeah. It's very likely he was pretty much aware of the disadvantages of using light units on Chasm. Probably did decide to go with pushing the bridge first. Might try to move more light units over that bridge, but as you can see, he is going with a double bridge. Oh, he's going with... Okay, weirdly enough. Okay, TheKhumi does go down to the Seekers. Frisky taking a look at his Longhorn, easily going to make their way over to TheKhumi's fort. But Frisky, strangely enough, going with a Longhorn push to mid. I'm not really sure what the deal with that was, as that is definitely not that great of a move if he scouted mid.
I'm potentially. I mean, I could be wrong, and without asking him, I wouldn't know for sure. I'm just thinking potentially he saw that many tanks that close to his base that could quickly be launched and essentially used as a counter push. and was just like, I need to do something to get rid of all these tanks before they become too much of a threat to me. So while TheKhumi is distracted with this base push, let me try to take out as much as I can.
Well, speaking of push, TheKhumi sent about 7 tanks over the top bridge, and FriskyCow is just seeing it now on his minimap. He's definitely putting down defenses at his fort. However, his top outpost might take a hit if TheKhumi, yes, is switching to T, so he will be able to neutralize and surround that top outpost. And at this point, FriskyCow is about at a 2-to-1 disadvantage of units, and it does look like he will lose the top. TheKhumi still has a very good hold on mid, and Frisky just has a bunch of tanks sitting at his fort.
And that was a perfect turn. I mean, TheKhumi basically knew that most likely Frisky had seen those tanks coming in through the radar, and rather than what a lot of players would do, which was just continue to let those tanks go on their way, he turns them after a point that Frisky would have assumed that they were coming to his main base, devoted all those resources to defending the base. Unfortunately, he wasn't there to completely assist these tanks, but at the same time, was it just ultimately a distraction on top of a distraction on top of a distraction, just to turn around and push out on the end from mid?
Yeah, and now he will pretty much hit a very open fort. There is a defensive T-99, so that will actually last a fairly long time against just 3 Longhorn coming in. However, TheKhumi did a mass T, so there's all these Longhorn, weirdly enough, Longhorn spreading all over the map, and FriskyCow now will have to deal with Longhorn at pretty much every point that he does control.
And unfortunately, in the process, he's losing control of this very, very important power station, which, I mean, really affects your unit cap significantly, where, I mean, from 35 to 50, I mean, we're talking a 15-unit cap just based on that one particular power station alone. Not something that you really want to lose control of in such a crucial match.
However, that mass T push, and Frisky, easily taking that outpost back under his control because of the creeps walking in, that mass T push actually kind of was not really that great. It did send small numbers of Longhorn at various points of the map, which were not able to actually do that well. And now at this point, Frisky is about at the same upkeep as TheKhumi, now sending a couple distraction jackals to his fort, which will be finished off by Longhorn, but TheKhumi reacting to it like a normal Air Mech player would. And at this point, FriskyCow might actually do another counter, I don't even know if you can call it counter, but another bridge push or something. I'm not even really sure what's happening right now.
It's a counter push that it's countered so many times that you can't even call it a counter anymore, so you just got to go back to calling it a push.
Yeah, not Minx, right?
Yeah, exactly. But interestingly enough, and this is what always blows my mind with TheKhumi, is that he uses the expensive tank units. He sends them out all the time, all over the place, where they're constantly getting killed, but yet somehow he always has a ton of them out on the battlefield. I mean, this guy, and he has like no moneymakers at his main base, and yet he still always seems to have all the money and all the funds to constantly have tanks out on the field, as if basically they grow out of him.
It's partially due to 1v1. TheKhumi is very, very heavily a 1v1 player, and it's also partially due to the mechanics of the game and the snowballing. He does have mid, so he will be able to have enough credits to support those kinds of unit spams. And TheKhumi just reacting to all the random stuff that FriskyCow has sent all over the map, but he has easily been able to hold, as those tank turtles are definitely doing their job. And Frisky getting a little bit caught here by TheKhumi, really low on health.
And now does he go back down? He goes back down just in the nick of time. TheKhumi falls off the bridge, giving Frisky that extra time. He is going to walk out of this, isn't he? He sure does.
Yeah, he does survive. Wow, really, really great. Now going to be chased back by TheKhumi, almost getting almost getting killed. Wow, that was pretty crazy. Frisky already at level 7 does go straight for those ultimate missiles, and did connect with TheKhumi in that retreat.
That they did, but unfortunately when you hit level 7 and you just initially get those missiles, yeah, you get them online, but I find that they're really not overly effective until you get them to level 2 on those missiles. Then that's when they really start to become a lot more dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, the fact they're a cooldown-based ability, not an energy-based ability, is probably the reason that people just get it as fast as they possibly can, just so they can spam it as much as possible. But yeah, at the higher levels, they are dramatically more effective than they are at level 1. It probably more so in comparison to other abilities, versus level 1 versus level 2 and 3, because of the way that it scales.
Look at this, man. We have yet another push on top of push. FriskyCow initially deploying out from that upper right outpost, has a small attack force, couple Seekers, couple tanks. Khumi scouts it out, sees it in time, launches his much bigger push from his middle outpost, which is also much closer to the main base, meaning that if FriskyCow doesn't properly get ready for the defense in time, he could be at a major disadvantage here, especially if Khumi decides, which it looks like he is, to actually support his push rather than worry about the counter push of the push.
Well, it's a little interesting to see what FriskyCow chose to go with a lot of defensively right now is patrolling Jackals, which will both tank damage and do a lot of damage to the Longhorn because they do have that medium weapon. So I think he'll be able to survive this attack right now, and Khumi actually was at his unit cap previously, so actually this large tank push that is coming for his fort is actually quite worrisome for him. FriskyCow might have been able to do a mass hold position or switch to T. Oh, Khumi getting finished off of that Longhorn. Oh, man.
Worst opportune time. The Longhorn, but the thing is that FriskyCow just didn't have quite the same amount of tanks in the counter push. I mean, he had a few tanks, but just nowhere near enough that they're doing damage, but they're just not doing damage at the same scale that Khumi was able to do to FriskyCow, where, I mean, we're talking what, like 40% of base health left versus like 60-70% of base health left. So Khumi is still in a great position. Unless he loses this middle outpost.
Is taking mid right now.
Yeah, if he loses this, that could really...
Might get finished off in the air right now, and chasing does get killed, and FriskyCow getting that finish on Khumi. Wow.
Vital kill right now at a crucial point of pushing in on this middle outpost, neutralizing out, putting it down. He only has one Longhorn left to deal with. Is this the turning point right here? Is this the moment where once again FriskyCow, almost with his back up against the wall, somehow manages to just pull the rabbit out of his hat and turn the entire tide of this battle? Or does this potentially very small, very stealthy 5-tank, 1-seeker push going across this top bridge doesn't wind up actually doing enough damage because maybe Frisky doesn't see it until it's too late because he's so worried about the front.
He definitely will see it once it passes his top outpost, and Khumi is now going to support that. He's going to go over that top, and FriskyCow not reacting directly to that, but holding mid is actually a great thing here. It might even be worth losing that top, but Khumi definitely has enough creeps over here, and Frisky might be able to finish off one with his sword. No, so Khumi will be able to get this top. Will FriskyCow be able to even this out here? Is the question. FriskyCow now dropping to patrolling Jackals in anticipation for a push, and Khumi is actually... Oh, he stopped. So he is going to start to try to hold this top outpost.
That he is. I mean, one thing that we can definitely say that from observing Khumi for the past several Mech Mania tournaments, is he is someone that not only favors heavy units, but he favors them in very large quantities of them. And typically, if he doesn't have a large quantity, he won't push out. That potentially is a strength and also a weakness too, because if someone could find a way to use that against him and exploit it against him, he really wouldn't have too much of anything left, because that is a pattern, you know, and that's something that normally that you do when you watch these players play over and over and over again. You start to see what their patterns are, what their play styles are, what they do and they don't do. And that is one thing I really have been noticing from Khumi, is that he really favors having large pushes before he'll actually move out, or he pushes out in desperation.
He does have a large amount of tanks right now. He might be pushing in desperation at this point. FriskyCow has a pretty substantial defense, but Khumi now just sees a pretty hefty tank push coming for his fort. However, he has scouted it in time and will be able to put down a defense. And FriskyCow kind of the same thing. So I guess the question is, what will happen after these pushes are done? Will Khumi be able to push back out to mid, and will FriskyCow be able to push back out to his top? And who will be able to do it faster? Who will be able to do it more effectively? Who will be able to do it with more units? Only a few seconds will tell. And Khumi now moving out. FriskyCow doing the exact same thing. Wow, this is quite a game.
I mean, these two guys are literally like playing almost the same game, just from other sides. I mean, it's almost like the same guy with two keyboards playing it as if he was playing against himself. Because I mean, both of them are taking very similar approaches to a lot of different things. Each one of them reacting very similarly, and yet each time that we kind of keep doing. Oh my gosh!
Out of energy. Really slow moving. Oh my god! Wow, that was hilarious.
Wow, I mean, it looked like that in the end that Frisky had given up the chase and that Khumi was going to actually make it out of there alive, but nope. Frisky came back in, gives it that one last shot. But it's just amazing how these guys keep going from no units on the battlefield to having full units back out on the battlefield again to launching and having no units out again. I mean, like after that last push on each of the bases were done, they really neither one of them had much of anything other than their initial base defense out anymore.
And yeah, you know what? It's weirdly enough, we are kind of back to square one. Frisky again pushing over the bridge. Khumi having the middle. Khumi does scout it though, so he will be able to get a defense off in time. And let's see what Frisky chooses to do right now. He has quite a lot of tanks here at his fort. Will he just push them straight to mid? I don't know. I don't know. You can never really predict this entire day. This is super weird. This whole thing.
Well, that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, well, this bridge push once again has been shut down. FriskyCow, I was about to say he's at a unit of disadvantage. At this point, it's not that bad, but he has lost his bottom left outpost, but will go down to neutral because Khumi doesn't have any infantry here to support that. But Khumi has pushed out all of his tanks from mid once again. Well, not all of his tanks, most of them, but Frisky has a lot of tanks. Yeah. Frisky has a lot of tanks to defend. Did he scout that push though?
Did you see how he picked up?
Out.
Did you see though? Khumi actually picked up the tanks off of the primary path and actually picked them up on the ledge so that they'll take the completely opposite approach, thereby avoiding everything that initially Frisky had in defense, even as the two tanks were supposed to go by each other. But Khumi not getting any spread. He keeps his units clumped up together. He does not spread them out.
But FriskyCow is really low health. Oh man, this might be it actually. Khumi with nothing here to contest him except for a single Longhorn. Frisky just bringing out one. He probably should just get down, start body blocking and slashing. Yes, he does that now. I don't think he'll be able to survive this though. There's way too many tanks over here.
I think he's gonna make it. I think he's gonna make it.
Oh man. However, this is not Twin Peaks. He's not going to be able to wall off the same way that Minx walled off with those zippers and those tanks. So, yeah, Frisky, not walling off, actually. Just going straight for the aggressive play. Khumi going with a single Longhorn. Will this drop actually work? Frisky definitely needs to anticipate that Khumi's going to try to do a drop and finish him off. But instead
of dropping, he's going to mid.
Weird.
Yeah.
A little strange.
You don't go for mid in something like this. I mean, for those of you that are watching that aren't overly sure, I mean, you can see, yeah, he's going for mid because maybe he wants to have a middle recharging point and a launching. But when you're this down, when your opponent has about 2% base health left and you're still at about 60%, you fly in yourself. You land, you just shoot. Especially if you're in a lefty striker, you do not mess around. You just get in there and you just end it, kill it, and move on to the next match.
Frisky has, Khumi has been able to retake mid, and at this point, Khumi can easily get the finish just by pushing tanks or even doing a drop, honestly. But FriskyCow, I don't know if he has any hope in this game at this point. Now bringing out Jackals, Soldiers, and Longhorn, just a strange mix of units. At this point, he does have a large tank line coming from the bottom, but there's no Seeker support, so Khumi going in for the last hit at this point. Oh, but he gets out of the air, and Frisky able to body block. Oh, man.
Yeah, but as this is going on, he's completely distracted from the real threat that's coming in, which is up at the top. We have it, we've got to say it. Train of Death. And this will be the Train of Death. I do not see any way possible that FriskyCow can survive this one.
Yeah, that's very, very, very unlikely at this point. Unless his sword has magic godlike powers to kill every single Longhorn.
2 shots get through.
Wait.
I don't believe it because of the
of
the scenery in the game. These tanks, they get clumped up, they get stuck on top of each other. They don't actually move around to be able to shoot the base, and somehow Frisky still alive in this match at a point that he should have been dead long ago is still hanging on by a thread. And even dropping.
I don't know what to say at this point. Frisky at this corner.
Zipper push.
Sending zippers.
Zipper push is going to end it. Let's see.
God, the zippers are going to end it.
Wait, come on, shoot, T99, shoot! Shoot! Holy crap! There is nothing left on the base! Khumi, don't worry about units. Just land and shoot. You could sneeze on the base and it will die.
I think Khumi wants to win style at this point, and the zippers will.
There we go.
Oh my God, what is happening? Steve, did you brainwash all of these people to play as weird as possible? Did you just do that or something?
glitch. I actually stuck something on the internet that isn't a computer virus, but it's a human virus. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It makes people play Air Mech weird.
Anyways, that was game 1 of a best of 3 of our finals of Mech Mania Monday's 1v1 Herzog Zwei Tribute Tournament, presented to you by OPTV Live, hosted by Steve, co-casted by RUI. Stay tuned for game 2 of the finals.